Okay, today we're going to talk briefly about buffs. There is so much to talk about buffs and so many ways to get them that it's mind boggling to keep up with them. But the first thing we're going to talk about is where to get them. So, new players, to give you some context, if you look at troops, okay, this T14 Samurai in this keep, their attack buff is 12,840, or excuse me, 12,084, okay? So context is a level 1 keep with no buffs. This would be 3,570. Okay. So this has been increased 400%. Their defense is 41,579. A brand new level 1 keep. These T14s original are 10,330. Same with the hit points. Originally they're 20,440, but with the research and the buffs that were put on this keep, they are now 77,781. So it makes them stronger. Having a lot of troops does not make you powerful. Having powerful troops makes you powerful. Okay. Now, the very first place that you're going to get buffs is in your academy. Okay. And that is going to be research, and it's going to cost you gold and or research stones. So every one of these categories up top here is going to be beneficial to your keep in some way. So for advancement, obviously it's going to be gathering, construction, increases your construction speed, which means it takes less speed ups if you want to speed up your construction. Gathering march speed, gathering increases your hourly production for the city's mines. Topography increases your speed of researching technology. So these things should be done before you go heavy on research. This is going to decrease the time it takes to research technologies in your academy by 70%. Okay. So construction increases construction speed by 70%. So it's going to take you less time to build in your city. Logistics increases your troop load. Advanced gathering speed, coinage, advanced silo protects the resources from being consumed. The only resource that's being consumed in your keep is food, and that's from your troops. So you always want to keep your food at a minimum and only open it when you need it. Same with all the rest of these. You see some of them aren't done. Increases hourly production in cities' farms because we don't really care. This keep is big enough that we don't rely on farms to get resources. It's rallies. Increases the speed of researching technologies by 100% again. So when we talk about buffs for troops, we're talking about military. Okay. Military and military advance are going to be the two areas in your academy that are going to be pivotal to increase the strength of your existing troops. Okay. Conscription increases the capacity of training troops. This for me is not one of my priority researches, especially with limited resources, because it just means that you have to train smaller amounts of troops at a time more often. Takes you longer, it's a pain in the butt. But if I only have a limited amount of gold in research, then I want to train things that are going to benefit my keep. Increase single range troop defense by 100%. To me, that's more important. Formation is going to give you another march slot. All of these are going to be buffs for your troops. Okay. Ground troop hit points are important on ground troops. Increases your single ground troop hit points by 600. That's that number that we looked at earlier. Okay. Coordination is going to be increasing your march size. So now you increase the power of your troops. You're going to increase the number that you can send as well. Advanced dispatch is another march slot. So all of these are going to be your number one way to increase the power of your troops. Okay. You want to get these done as soon as you can. Defense is going to be about defending your troops if you were attacked while your troops are still in the keep. Now, we talked about ghosting earlier, and ideally, your troops should be out of your keep. So this is not going to be a big priority for a lot of people in the beginning because you should not be attacked with your troops in your keep. Okay. Now, medical aid is going to reduce the cost of healing your troops. Okay. Increases the death turning wounded rate of ranged troops when they are attacking. So what happens is if you're attacking somebody during non-SVS period, your troops are killed. it will turn some of those, or a portion of those, a larger portion, into wounded troops that you can heal rather than having to get back out of the Holy Palace. First aid, same thing. Light of Server War increases the single time revived troops' power during server war. What this means is your first wounded troops in server war will not cost you source of life to heal. Okay. Surgery is going to increase the speed of healing troops. Okay. Which means you don't have to spend as many speed ups healing your troops. So all of these are going to have a benefit. But for buffs, you are talking about military and advanced military or advanced defense. Okay. And your advanced defense is also going to have debuffs. So debuffs are what's going to reduce the power of your enemies. Reduces enemy range troop hit points by 70%. Okay. We'll talk about debuffs and buffs a little bit later on how they work. We'll look at a report. So those are going to be the two main ways to increase your buffs and debuffs in your keep. The other way is going to be your generals. So your generals can only be as high as your monarch level. You see this particular keep has a monarch level of 38. So their generals can be up to level 38. And the higher your generals, the more powerful they are. So we'll look at Elise. You want the skill books for her because she's a ground general. And you want gear that is going to assist her in ground attacks. So this Antonine helmet, ground troop attack plus 40%, ground troop and mounted troop hit point defense plus 35, debuff the enemy ground troop and mounted troop defense by 35%, and debuffs the enemy ground troop attack by 30%. Now, because there are two Antonine pieces on this character, she's also got leg armor, you're going to get the set attributes, ground and mounted troop defense and hit points plus additional 12%. Okay. And then we're talking about refines. Okay. So refines, after you have given it 5 yellow stars, refines are going to be right here. Those are horrible refines. And refining is going to give you additional benefits to those particular troop types. So on this one, we want ground troop hit points of plus 29.1%. That's going to add the power to your troops while you're attacking. Okay. So for this one, you can upgrade gear as well. In addition, this one's got 2 blue stars, which increases the basic attributes. So instead of 40 or 45%, I think it went up to 56. But refines again. Refines are going to cost you gems and gold. Okay. But that's going to be the 2 basic ways that you buff your generals or your troops. When we talk about debuffs, that is all generally going to be in your wall general. Okay. And if you're ghosting all your troops, you don't really need a wall general, but your wall general should have gear that is going to, I want to click on him, that is going to debuff your enemy. So we'll go to Leo. He's the wall general. And we notice the gear he has is debuff gear, which means it has percentages that take away from your enemy. Okay. Abyss armor, debuff. Enemy range and siege machine attack minus 20%. Okay. So debuffing the enemy troops and buffing your troops make you more formidable when it comes to PvP. Okay. Another huge way to debuff the enemy is going to be your sub-city generals. So sub-city generals are very specific in the fact that they will offer reductions, and it'll say reduce enemy ranged troops attack by 35% and enemy mounted troops hit points by 35% when the general is leading the army. So this reduces enemy ranged troop attack by 35% is for good, which means whether you attack or whether you defend, that is going to be there. This and enemy mounted troops hit points by 35% when the general is leading the army only applies when you are attacking. Okay. And then, of course, as you upgrade their stars, you will also get additional benefits. But those are debuffs. That's what they're for. Okay. They don't need any special abilities except for putting them into a category that helps your subsidy troops survive. But the gear is all going to be Ikemendace gear, okay, which means that they are going to have debuffs. You'll have Civ gear down the road that will give you debuffs as well, but it's generally a practice that subsidy generals will get this gear and they will all be debuff. So 6 sets will also give you the bonus of your all troops attack plus 10%, ground and mounted troop attack and defense on monsters, which we don't care about, and then enemy troop attack minus 15%. That's enemy troop attack. That's range, siege, ground, and mounted all has a negative 15%. Okay. And we can upgrade the specialties at some point. So, for example, there's really only one specialty on a subsidy general that should be upgraded, and that is going to be the one that increases debuffs. So here, enemy troop attack minus 10%. That's all enemy troops. Okay. Those are down the road. We don't need to do any of the rest of the specialties on the subsidy generals because they offer mounted troop attack plus 4%, mounted troop hit points plus 4%. Those are going to be just for the troops that are in your subsidy. So yes, they will make your subsidy troops stronger, but remember your subsidy troops are weak to begin with. And if you have the resources to max out specialties, you should definitely be doing that for your main generals first. Okay. But the rest of these are all going to be, here's one. This is an enemy range troop and siege machine attack debuff, but you need to maximize the first 3 before you can get to the 4th, and it's just not worth it. Okay. So again, all gear, 5 stars, Ikemendace armor or arc armor, however you want to call it. And these refines do not need to be done. Some of these refines are just because this is gear that was used on a different general before. So this is a range troop hit points. This gear was obviously used on a range general before it was replaced by civilization equipment. Okay. But you don't need any refines on any of this subsidy gear. Okay. So those are going to be debuffs. Debuffs are also going to be in your academy when you get high enough to get to the military advance and defense advance. There are also buffs in your keep all over the place. Your champion has buffs and debuffs, generally buffs. Uh, Reinforcement capacity plus 55%, enemy troop attack minus 13%, in-city troop defense and hit points plus 28%, in-city troop attack plus 40%. So each one of these is going to give you buffs as well, or debuffs. Another location for buffs and debuffs is going to be your art hall, your art treasure. Okay, there's a lot of prerequisites to meet before you can unlock these, but they're going to give you buffs to your troops as well. You have to unlock specific things in the general hall, getting all of these generals. You also have to complete your exhibition hall, get these 3 stars before you'll be able to unlock those as well. Some of them have prerequisites like placing top 100 in BOC, BOG, whatever it may be. Another location for buffs and debuffs will be in your civilization treasure for your wonder. So owning these will give you these benefits, and then you can switch between the activation for training speed, healing speed, subordinate city troops, etc. Okay. Another place for buffs, there's so many, it's ridiculous. So focus on the big ones, Research Academy and your generals, and then worry about the little stuff later. Another place is going to be the Blazons. So Blazons will offer you buffs, and you can upgrade them to get more buffs. They're like Monarch gear when you have all 6 of the same set. They have 6 of the Valor set. They will give you additional benefits. You can mix and match them, whatever it may be. They're hard because you want ones that are going to benefit you for what you're trying to do. Now, this is an attack keep, so all of these, they want to be attack. Okay. For example, um, I know I seen one in here earlier. These are all attack. Maybe it was a ground one. These are all pretty good. All right, so as you see, this one's mix and matched. So they've got the justice set and a couple sacrifice sets in order to split those. But that's another way to get debuffs or buffs. Your Council of State Building offers some. Your Ideal Land offers some. I haven't even done that because it's worthless. Your Military Academy offers some. All of your dragons will offer buffs. Um, so, for example, this Celtic Dragon is a level 12. You can refine these attributes. Now, the Celtic Dragon is a ranged dragon, and obviously, Fafnir is going to be a mounted dragon. A lot of people mess up in the beginning. They put the Celtic Dragon on your mounted general and refine it for mounted troop attack. However, when you look at the talents are ranged troop attack. Ranged troop attack. Okay. Fafnir, siege machine, and mounted. Okay. So these should all be refined according to what they offer. And then, of course, the dragons, unlike the spiritual beasts, offer general attribute boosts. Okay. So what these do is they make your general stronger. When we talk about general attributes, we're talking about this. So, for example, range general is going to be Electra. She has the Celtic Dragon. These attributes are going to be, of course, I don't have the keyboard running. These attributes are going to be higher because she has the dragon. Okay. And each one of these will offer some type of buff. If you look at your generals, they'll increase attack, defense, hit points, etc. So there's a number of ways to increase buffs and debuffs. There's so many that you can spend all your resources wasted on some things. I would focus on the academy and your generals, and we're going to get into refines a little bit later. But that's it for now.